I was born in Buffalo, New York, and when I was 2, my folks moved to a suburb outside of Chicago. Pretty much grew up in a town called Mount Prospect, and stayed there pretty much until until I went in the Army. I was going to college, and I really didn't want to be in college, but I didn't want to go in the Army. And at that time, it was during the draft period. So my choice was, well, stay in college. You've got 4 years of deferment. And then the choice came down to, well, you could get drafted and maybe wind up, infantry in the rice paddies, or enlist into something that you might be better. And that's what I did. I enlisted into military intelligence, and I was trained as a Vietnamese interrogator. All the while, expecting every step along the way you're going to go to Vietnam, and that was fine. And at that time, I had it with schools and wanted to go to Vietnam. And lo and behold, half the class went to Vietnam, and half the class stayed stateside, and I got assigned to a military intelligence detachment in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where I spent my last year, at a detachment that nobody even knew existed. It was a tough time to be in the Army, and it was even actually tougher when you got out. And you wanted to get rid of anything you had that had military on it, because you weren't treated very, very nice by anybody. I mean, I thought I was doing the right thing. I still think I did the right thing. I needed the Army. It provided me the discipline, and also gave me a lot of self-confidence. The transition, although it was from the Army to civilian life, was painful. It was definitely worth the 2 years, 9 months, and 1 day that I served. Got up to Alaska, arrived there in Fairbanks in the summer of 1973, and said, this is me. I'm not leaving. I had a friend. He was building a cradle for his grandson. So he bought a lathe to turn these things. And he said, this turning is kind of fun. You might want to try it. I went over to his house, and gave me just a block of wood, put it on the lathe, and kind of roughed out a bowl, and then it kind of started from there. I think it's probably like any craft, but be able to create a design, and you can do that with wood. Make anything you want to make out of it. I've always enjoyed doing puzzles. It's kind of the same thing. It's kind of a challenge. One of the projects I just started working on, I've never done this before, but the top drawing is a baseball bat. And I'm going to make it out of segmented rings. And the bottom are all the rings I need to put this thing together, and it's going to be made out of maple. And these are the rings. They're actually going to be cut in half, 12 segments to the ring. It's fun stuff to do, and keeps your mind active. One of the things a retired teacher said, and they interviewed her. They asked her, well, what's one thing you recommend to people who are about to enter retirement? And she said, never quit learning. And that one stuck. It's a good thing to remember. You're never too old to try and learn.